Don't ever get resigned in thinking that the way that you behave won't impact how somebody else is behaving around you.
Let's talk about our family. Let's talk about our close friends.
My invitation for you, regardless of what you do, is that you raise your game to a place called world class.
Rise and shine!
It's Entspresso time!
Hey, Believe Nation, it's Evan, and every morning I bring you a shot of Entspresso to help you believe in yourself more and start your day with confidence. So good morning, grab your coffee, I believe in you, let's do this. Over to you, Mel Robbins.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Got to raise your own game. And so what is the game that you play at work? You got to get out of the head that it's all about you. The best team members are always thinking about how to make the team better. The best team members are loyal to the team. The best people to work with are the ones that are in it together. And so in order for you to get your toxic colleague to shift behavior, you got to model it. And here's the interesting thing about the research. When people are working with coworkers or on a team where people collaborate and where you have honest conversations, it creates what we call psychological safety, which basically just means I feel safe working with you. I know that if I come to you with feedback, you'll listen. I know that if I tell you how your behavior is impacting me, you'll actually care. I know that if you need help, you'll come to me, and I know if I need help, I can come to you. That's what psychological safety means. You're a safe person and hopefully a fun person to work with. So you've got to model that. That means you got to ask for support. That means you got to have direct conversations, and it means you got to support your team members too. And do you realize that when you work with other people that do this, team members are 35 times more likely to show visible commitment to your success, and they're 47% more likely when you model it to work hard to build and maintain your trust. So don't ever get resigned in thinking that the way that you behave won't impact how somebody else is behaving around you.
You want to change the people around you, but you have no idea how to do it. And not just colleagues at work. Let's go deeper. Let's go more personal. Let's talk about our family. Let's talk about our close friends. Let's talk about the people who are in our lives, who you see are struggling, who you know could benefit from getting exposure to things, from trying new things, from launching that business, from doing that difficult thing, but they're too afraid to do it and they're caught up in their own head of excuses. When people are growing, learning, when you've learned, right? Think about where you've come from. Think about how much you've learned in the past year, 2 years, 5 years, how you might even barely recognize the person who you used to be 5 years ago, how much you've grown and learned because of watching videos like this and reading books and going to events and listening to podcasts. You've grown and learned, and as we do that, what we want to do is help the people around us. It's just natural. Every time you learn something and you grow and you get better, you want to share that. And the people we want to share it with the most are the people around us, the people we love. Your parents, your spouse, your kids, your friends. Those are the people who we really want to truly impact. And we've grown, we've learned, right? You've grown, you've learned. You want to see those people grow and learn as well. It's just natural. But most people suck at actually doing it. Most people suck at the ability. It doesn't mean you suck as a human. You just haven't developed the skill set and you're using the wrong tools and technologies to actually help somebody make the shift in their life. So what happens? You watch a video, you got all inspired, you learn something, and then you say, you should watch this video. You know what you should do? You go talk to your parents or your friends or your spouse. You know what you should do? You should go do this. You should go do this thing. This thing will change your life. This thing is where your dreams are. This thing. And you're coming in with super hot energy, super high belief, and love. But you know what the other person feels? They're not feeling love. They're not feeling belief, not yet. Even though it's what you're giving. What they feel is judgment. What they feel is you don't think they're good enough where they're at right now, that they need to make a change, and that you don't accept them anymore. That's what's going on in their mind. They don't feel good enough. And then they're gonna lash out and get defensive, and you're like, why are you getting defensive? I'm just trying to help. You want this life, you want to build, you could be great, you could do all this stuff. You could have big ambitions and change the world. And they start thinking you're crazy. They don't want to hang out with you anymore. Even though you're giving love, the more love in your ways that you're giving it, the more they just feel inadequate, judged, not good enough, and maybe shouldn't be in this relationship anymore. They're gonna get more negative, more toxic, more self-defeating, have less confidence, even though it's the exact opposite of what you're trying to create. Great. I'm sure you've all experienced this, right? I'm sure you have experienced this. You had an idea, you learned something, you wanted to share it with your friends, you come in at high energy and they just crap all over it and don't want to take action. It makes you feel even worse because, again, your intention was good. Your intention was to serve. Your intention was to help. Just the execution and delivery wasn't good enough. So how do you make the change? How do you actually start? This is one of the biggest, this is maybe the holy grail of personal development. How do you actually start to change the people who are around you and not just yourself? I'm gonna give you some strategies, but first let me tell you a story. My wife, Nina, used to be terrified of being in front of the camera. Used to never want to share her story. Used to always kind of be behind the scenes and be super awkward and uncomfortable. And last week, I had my Movement Makers program. And Movement Makers is where I train with people who want to build their movements. We do 85 minutes every 2 weeks, and it's amazing. But what happens inside Movement Makers, and why this is important for Nina, is Movement Makers people pick on the topic that they want me to talk about next. And then I share my 3 big ideas on that to help them make progress. And then I put people in the breakout rooms. Nina was terrified of breakout rooms. I put people in breakout rooms because I think it's important to not be alone. I think it's important to feel like you've got a community of people. I think when I look at the people in Movement Makers, often they don't have anybody else in their life who supports them, who encourages them. And it's great to be here learning with me live every 2 weeks. But I think the connections that you can make to other people who are just like you is super, super, super important. So we'll do 15 to 20 minutes of breakout rooms. And Nina shared a story with her group in her breakout room. She participates and she joins in, and it's her and 5 to 6 other people. And she had her heart beating before going into the breakout rooms. And as I'm prepping for the breakout rooms to say, hey, we're going to breakout rooms soon, guys, she wanted to leave. She wanted to quit. She wanted to leave the Zoom, not be a part of it, because of her insecurities and her past and just being afraid, and maybe my story's not good enough, or maybe I won't know what to share, or maybe I don't know what to do. And it flipped for her to say, no, I'm gonna do difficult things. I'm gonna do this. I don't wanna run away. I don't wanna still be that person. Even though I'm not the most extroverted person, it's fine, I don't need to be. I don't wanna run away because I wanna teach myself that I do difficult things. And so she stayed, and she got put in her group, and she ended up being amazing. She led the group. She was asking everybody how they were doing. She was sharing stories. She was giving feedback. It was an awesome group, and she shared that story because somebody came on in her group and said how they were afraid to make a video. They have a message, they want to make a YouTube video, they're afraid. They look at themselves and they don't like what they see, they don't like how they sound, they don't think their points are good enough. Every time they record, they feel like an embarrassment. They feel like an embarrassment. And so she told her story of how she almost didn't want to do this Zoom call right now, that she was afraid. And it helped that person, and it helped her group. And I was so proud, kind of listening in on the side, like, oh yeah, go Nina, you got this, you're amazing. The Nina of 5 years ago wouldn't have done that. So how did she make the shift back to now? How do we change our wives? How do we change our husbands? How do we change the people around us? It's not judging them and yelling at them or even encouraging them a lot of times. It's modeling the behavior that you want them to have by you living your great life. And then not judging or expecting anything from them. Because here's what's gonna happen. Nina said, I want to do difficult things. Where did that come from? It's because she's been hearing me say it for the past 5 years, that I do difficult things, that I'm Evan Carmichael, I do difficult things. Not just on videos, right? This isn't just Evan Carmichael puts his YouTube hat on and I'm a totally different person otherwise. This is who I am. Whenever I struggle with something, I will tell myself that I do difficult things. And she's seen me do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that behavior starts to seep in. Whoever is more confident wins. When you're with somebody, whoever is more confident wins. So if you're with people who are working out all the time, guess what? You're gonna start to work out more. If you're with people who are recording YouTube videos all the time, guess what? You're gonna start recording YouTube videos. If you're with somebody who's, watching sports or gardening or, whatever the thing is that they become obsessed about, you don't necessarily become obsessed with it, but it shifts you a little bit. Especially when it comes to mindset, your beliefs, your way of being, your mindset, how you react to things. When somebody cuts you off in traffic, when something really negative happens to you, right? When somebody insults you or leaves a hate comment on your videos, how you react, that mindset is something that then other people start to emulate. And similarly, and you've probably experienced this, when you're with people who are negative, who are toxic, who are tearing people down, who are gossiping, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna be gossiping, negative, tearing people down. Even if you know that's not who you are, you're just gonna default to that mode because that's who you're around. And so if you wanna shift people, especially those closest to us, it's not about telling them what to do, it's about being happy. You challenging yourself to grow, to learn, to get better. And they're gonna see in your behavior, not just how you handle the good times, that's easy. It's how do you handle the bad times? How do you handle the struggles? How do you handle the self-doubt? How do you handle the fear of failure? How do you handle the rejection? How do you handle the negative comments? How do you handle it? How do you handle it? Because it's one thing to talk and share a strategy, it's an entirely different thing to actually live it. So if you've just gone on some weight loss journey, right, as an example, or you just started this new business and they see the fears and the struggles that you've had and they see you wanting to reach for that chocolate bar and then you put it down, that's gonna inspire them. That will inspire them way more than telling them, yeah, you should go on a diet too. Yeah, you should do this. You should do this 10-day no sugar challenge with me, right? You should. You know what that is? Judgment. That's what they don't want. They don't want you to judge them. They want you to love them. And so you need to not enable their negative behaviors, but not judge them. Have empathy, have compassion, have understanding, live your life, be happy doing what you're doing. You go on your weight loss journey, you go on your entrepreneurship journey, you start crushing your goals, you show them, not show them, put it in their face, but just by you living. You doing the difficult things in your life and how you're tackling the challenges. And there's gonna be these moments where they're gonna realize, I want more too. If he can do that, if she can do that, maybe I can do that too. And they'll come to you. They'll come to you and say, how do I do this? You're so happy. You've lost so much weight. You've started this business. How did you do it? Because I want it too. And that's when you have them. And that's when they've opened up, right? You trying to crack that hard exterior is gonna be almost impossible. You have to create the environment for them to come to you. Create the environment for them to ask for help because you know they're in pain. And it's super hard to be patient and wait for that. It doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. It means live your life, take on your goals, take on your challenges, show where you're struggling, where you're frustrated, where you're letting yourself down, and then show how you bounce back from it and how you get up and do it again. That's gonna be the inspiration. And that's a lot more work than just giving words. That's a lot more work than just giving speeches because you gotta actually do the difficult work yourself. And in doing that, it will inspire them, especially consistently. If you are consistently chasing down your life, it will inspire them to live a happier life as well. And then they'll come to you and ask for help. And then you help them. That's how you do it. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single #1 takeaway from this video? And how are you going to take action on it this week? The science says that when you get motivated and create your plan of action for specifically how you're gonna take action on the idea, write it down, when, with whom, how you're gonna do it, you have a 91% chance of actually following through versus just 35% if you got motivated but never actually created a specific plan. And when you share your plan publicly, you're much more likely to follow through, even more, to a higher degree. So I want you to get a result, not just watch YouTube videos, but to get a result in your life or in your business. So down in the comments below, I want to know what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action. Put it down below because I want to celebrate you. Also, if you want to have more confidence, I have designed a free training for you where every day for the next 254 days, I'll send you an unlisted video direct to your email to help you build your confidence. The science says it can take up to 254 days to successfully build a habit, and I want you to build the habit of confidence. The link to join is absolutely free. It's down in the description below. See you there.
I'm about to change your life because this piece of research changed mine.
I know that everybody's problem comes down to one pattern you're repeating that you can't see.
If you're still saying that to yourself over and over and over again and you're complaining, it's what you're really good at is ignoring your gut. And so it's time to start tuning into your gut and making some changes.
We become our standards in many ways. If you are surrounded by B players or average performers, and that is your standard, then your mindset will operate at the standard that is offered to you by the people around you. I mean, we do become our social orbit. And if you are at a standard internally that I want to be a game changer in my field, I want to be BIW, the best there ever was, I want to be the Van Gogh and the Rembrandt of technology or whatever field you play in, then your behavior always matches your internal identity and your inner standards. So your standards are important, your standards for your friendships, your standards for the quality of the work you do, the standards of your languaging, the standards of the nutrition you put into your body, the standards of your love life, the standards of your mindset, the standards of the way you occur in the world. And so my invitation for you, regardless of what you do, is that you raise your game to a place called world class. And that is all about being a game changer. Now, I should caution you, and I don't like that word because language is so powerful and caution is a word that really is a little dramatic. But I want to caution you, which is as you leave the herd and the crowd and perhaps the cult of mediocrity and rise to being a game changer, it's a very disruptive act. And you actually threaten the masses of people around you. And that's why every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered. And I'm sure you've experienced it. You say, you know, I want to take my fitness to a whole new level of world class, or I want to take my craft to a whole new level of world class, or maybe you're raising your game financially and then you share it with those you love or your friends, and maybe your friends are those you love and they laugh at you. And how many times have we given up on a dream because we were mocked by the people around you? And all I'm suggesting to you is when you get laughed at and ridiculed, and when people don't understand your next level of world class, that just means you've got a great dream. And that just means you're on the path of growth. So be a game changer.
If you want another awesome Mel Robbins clip, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Happiness is not about achieving things. It's not about getting the result.
And if you feel that every day for too long, that's depression.